Gale force winds kill 7 and spread chaos. Rail managers become guards to try to break the strike. Dame Judy's surprise at her 2 BAFTA nominations. And what Prince Charles had to say about cannabis.
The ITV News at 10 with Trevor MacDonald.
Good evening. The worst gales of the winter, reaching more than 100 miles an hour in places, have brought death and destruction to parts of northern Britain. At least 7 people have been killed, tens of thousands have been left without power, and bridges and motorways have been closed. Tonight, there are no trains running between England and Scotland. John Draper reports on the impact of the storms across the country.
Main roads in Scotland became so dangerous, with huge lorries blown right over, that police first closed the fast lanes and then completely closed some stretches of motorways. 2 people died in Scotland in lorry accidents. Another person was killed when a tree hit a car. Both the Tay Bridge and the Forth Road Bridge were closed by early afternoon.
We've recorded gusts of 108 miles per hour, mean speeds of over 70 miles an hour, so the decision was taken to close the bridge at 2 o'clock.
Even making a phone call in Edinburgh was precarious. Trains from the Scottish capital were cancelled, though passengers tonight eventually completed their journeys to Carlisle and other destinations south of the border by a fleet of coaches. In the northeast of England, the gales took their toll. The driver of this lorry died after being trapped in his cab when it turned over. The emergency services later banned all high-sided vehicles from using the A1 and the A19. In North Yorkshire, there was a string of accidents. 1 man lost his life. Northern Ireland saw power lines being brought down by gales, at times reaching almost 100 miles an hour. And there was tragedy in York. Part of the city centre is still sealed off tonight, following the death of a woman who was hit by masonry which blew off the top of a building.
Well, I was looking over there, next minute I saw, heard a noise. Next minute the stone came off the top, and as the woman was walking it came off and hit her on her head, and then stone just splattered like that, and you could see all blood off her head.
The death toll across the country tonight stands at 7. Many people were relatively lucky today, sustaining damage only to property, and the south was much less affected. Even so, this road in Essex saw a tree blow over, which in turn brought down power lines, resulting in a crash in the road. The forecasters say the very severe storms will ease, but strong winds are still due to continue for several days. John Draper, ITV News.
South West Trains faced up to another 2-day stoppage today by saying it plans to make the RMT's strike action irrelevant if its members continue to penalise passengers. The company plans to teach more managers to do the work of RMT guards after running twice as many trains today as they did on the last strike day. Caroline Kerr reports.
On a normal working day, this man would be responsible for a budget of millions of pounds for the purchase of new trains. Today he's on platform duty at Southampton Station. Nick Dorey is one of scores of managers from South West Trains working as a guard to break today's strike. Commuters still faced a day of inconvenience and delays, but the company says 1 in 3 trains did run and passengers won't be held to ransom again.
Our aim will eventually be to run a full service on a strike day and make the strikes irrelevant.
In retaliation, some union activists have promised to hit back even harder.
They want to up this dispute. They want to get it over and done with, and if that means maybe going on strike for a week at a time, that's the mood that people are in.
And tonight, the man leading today's walkout told me he wasn't ruling out week-long strikes.
Well, that's something we can always consider. Anything between 1 hour and an all-out dispute is always something that we can examine.
The fact is, relations between management and staff have reached such a low point, it's almost war on the railways. South West Trains have taken a particularly tough line. They've said the time for talking is over and have simply imposed a pay offer on staff. They're training managers to do guards' jobs to reduce disruption. They're also recruiting new staff who'll accept the current pay deal and help reduce overtime payments to existing workers. Tonight, passengers caught in the middle were unimpressed when the RMT leader tried to explain why a 4% pay rise wasn't good enough for his members.
If we were to offer our employees a 4% pay rise at this moment in time due to the economic downturn, they would be exceptionally grateful.
Yeah, but let me say at the same time to you...
Thank you very much for your time. I've got to go.
Let me just say to you, are you on £200 a week?
Am I on £200 a week?
That's what some of these people on this station are on.
4%'s a better pay rise than I had this year.
Are you on £200 a week?
No, I'm not.
For long-suffering passengers struggling to get home tonight, the worst of it is there's no end in sight. If anything, both sides are now digging in their heels. There aren't even any peace talks in the pipeline. So tonight it's stalemate, with more disruption tomorrow and the possibility of worse to come. Caroline Kerr, ITV News.
The Foreign Office said today 2 Britons are being held in Afghanistan as al-Qaeda suspects. One comes from the West Midlands town of Tipton, as do 2 of the 3 Britons held in America's military base in Cuba. Their families back here insisted today they couldn't have been al-Qaeda fighters. Harry Smith has our report.
Tonight, in the small West Midlands town of Tipton, a third house has been placed under police protection after news that another local man has been taken prisoner in Afghanistan. A lawyer for the family of Ruhud Ahmed said they were shocked.
The family are extremely concerned that he's being painted as a religious fanatic and a supporter of the Taliban. As far as they know, their son has never expressed any fundamentalist views and has no links with any fundamentalist organisations.
The 200-strong Muslim community here is bewildered to find itself at the centre of such worldwide attention. Earlier, the family of another man captured, Shafiq Razoul, said he had gone to Pakistan last month to study computers. They said that if he was found with Taliban fighters, they must have been holding him as a hostage.
In 1 month, for a student from England to go over there, learn Arabic, communicate with the Afghans, learn how to fire a gun, fight against a superpower with the top technology. This is unbelievable. This is just a joke.
Former schoolmates of the men say they had little interest in religion or politics.
I'm sure. We always used to go out together. Never had any trouble or anything, always happy.
Never thought he'll be ending up in Afghanistan or Cuba, whatever it is. It's just a shock.
The families of the men said tonight that if they were to face trials, they wanted them tried in Britain. With America still resisting such a move, it could therefore be many months before Tipton learns the truth about how 3 of its sons ended up as terrorist suspects on the other side of the world. Harry Smith, ITV News in the West Midlands.
American special forces operating in Afghanistan have stormed an al-Qaeda hideout, killing 6 of them in a fierce gun battle. The al-Qaeda troops, all Arabs, were holed up inside the wing of a hospital near Kandahar. They'd said they'd never be taken alive. Robert Moore reports.
The al-Qaeda gunmen delivered on their promise to fight to the death. The 6 men barricaded themselves inside this hospital 6 weeks ago. Today, Afghan troops, with the visible support of American special forces, stormed the building. A fierce firefight continued as the assault progressed from room to room. At the end of the battle on the outskirts of Kandahar, all 6 of the al-Qaeda fighters had been killed. They had repeatedly turned down offers to surrender. The battle was a sign of how closely US forces are now working with anti-Taliban Afghan troops. It extends not just to operations, but to training as well, including target practice. In Washington, President Bush, with the head of Afghan's interim government at his side, said America would help to rebuild the Afghan military and would not abandon Afghanistan now.
The United States is committed to building a lasting partnership with Afghanistan. We will help the new Afghan government provide the security that is the foundation for peace.
Tomorrow, President Bush will address the nation from here on Capitol Hill, telling the American people that the war on terrorism has just begun. The president will also renew his vow to track down and bring to justice Osama bin Laden, however long it takes. Robert Moore, ITV News, Washington.
America's war on terrorism, and in particular its detention of those al-Qaeda suspects in Cuba, may have provoked the kidnapping of an American journalist working in Pakistan. A Pakistani group with links to al-Qaeda have released photographs of Daniel Pearl, who works for the Wall Street Journal. One appears to imitate pictures taken of the prisoners in Cuba. The kidnappers accuse him of being a CIA spy. More than 500 soldiers and civilians are now known to have died when a huge munitions depot caught fire in the Nigerian city of Lagos. Exploding artillery, shells and mortars also caused many injuries. Many of the dead drowned in canals attempting to escape the inferno. Mark Austin reports.
Tears of grief and of anger in Lagos today as the search for victims of this appalling accident continued. The tragic misfortune of these people was to live alongside an ammunition depot capable of this. The explosions went on for hours. A fire spread to warehouses full of grenades, bombs and other ordnance. The result was spectacular but also deadly. In panic and in darkness, hundreds of people plunged in terror into a nearby canal. By daybreak, it was clear that dozens had drowned. All day they recovered bodies, many of them women and children. And as they trawled the weed-choked water, there was growing fury with the authorities.
We want something to be done. Look at bomb. Imagine it's in somebody's office. Look at the front place there. Everywhere was on fire.
Nearby homes, businesses and shops were all destroyed in the inferno.
It's in ruins. I don't even know where to start from. I mean, you have to go in there to see the extent of destruction.
The Nigerian president toured the disaster area and pledged help for the people. But it seems the body count here is far from over, and the authorities have much explaining to do. Mark Austin, ITV News.
Here, the Chancellor Gordon Brown, back at work for the first time since the death of his baby daughter, announced that the budget would be a little later this year, on April the 17th. Budgets usually come in March, but this year's been put back because of Mr. Brown's time away from work. Lord of the Rings might not be quite as successful at the box office as Harry Potter, but to date was given more BAFTA nominations, 12 in all. Moulin Rouge also got 12. In the category for individual actors, Dame Judi Dench received 2 nominations. Here's our arts editor, Katie Derham.
As actor Richard E. Grant announced the nominations for this year's BAFTAs, it was clear that the big event movies like Lord of the Rings were set to sweep the board. The BAFTAs are awarded to what British judges think are the best films in the world, and this year the BAFTA panel has given the thumbs up to films of magic and fantasy. The extravagant musical Moulin Rouge, directed by Australian Baz Luhrmann, has received 12 nominations. They include Best Film and Best Original Screenplay. The epic Lord of the Rings will also be a favourite for Top Gongs after getting the same number of nominations. It's also up for Best Film and Best Director for New Zealander Peter Jackson. But Harry Potter hasn't done quite so well. It's received 7 nominations, but most of those are for technical awards.
This is what today's nominees will be hoping to win at the ceremony in just under a month's time. He's not quite as famous, perhaps, as his American cousin Oscar, but these days an increasingly good indicator that if you get one of these, you may well win an American Academy Award as well.
Not surprisingly, the stars of the critically acclaimed Iris have all won nominations. Indeed, Judi Dench could win 2 BAFTAs this year for this and her role in The Shipping News. Though busy filming the latest James Bond film today, she only heard about her success earlier this evening.
I've only just been told that, actually, just coming up the street here in the car.
Golly.
So, well, I'm thrilled. Lovely, lovely news.
Now it's up to the nominees to provide as much glamour on the night as they did on screen. Katie Derham, ITV News.
Police said tonight it could be several days before they decide whether to prosecute the Liverpool player Jamie Carragher for throwing a coin back into the crowd. Officers are still examining video pictures and interviewing possible witnesses to the incident at yesterday's Arsenal-Liverpool FA Cup tie. Carragher has apologised for what he did. The Prince of Wales surprised the patient with multiple sclerosis today by asking her if she'd ever used cannabis to cope with the symptoms. The Prince was visiting a day centre in mid-Wales, used mainly by cancer patients, to present an MBE to their nurse. Here's Tom Bradby.
Prince Charles was in Wales today visiting a daycare centre for those with long-term illness. He spoke to MS sufferers, and in light of the recent debate about the use of cannabis to treat MS, and perhaps of his own local difficulty with Harry, he asked a few pertinent questions.
He asked how long I've been coming here, so I told him in 1998 I've got MS, and he was asking about cannabis, if I've ever started taking it, so I said no, not yet.
Some researchers argue that cannabis does alleviate the symptoms of MS. But the point of Prince Charles's visit today was to award an MBE to Devan Wen Jones for her work at the centre. She was due to come to the palace to get it, but when she said she was reluctant to leave her patients, the palace agreed that the prince could come to her.
I just can't explain, because I think I've been living on cloud nine ever since I was told, and today is no exception.
Devan Wen Jones is a nurse and set up the centre while still working at the local hospital. If it was not for people like her, Prince Charles said today, places like this just would not exist. Tom Bradby, ITV News.
Tonight's headlines: 7 people have been killed in northern Britain in the worst gales of the winter. Tens of thousands of homes have been left without power. And South West Train says it will continue training managers as guards to limit the effects of RMT strikes. And that's tonight's news at 10. We're back tomorrow. From the entire team here, goodbye.
Come on, sorry! Oh.
Power Gen. Energy for you and your little monsters come rain or shine.
Mike?
Good evening. Stormy weather across the north today. These are some of the wind speeds recorded in the last 24 hours. 141 miles per hour up on top of the Scottish mountains, more typically 70, 80 miles per hour across the north of Britain. The worst is already well out of the way. That's gone away to the east of us. Tonight then we'll keep rain in parts of the west, especially in the northwest with some sleet and snow in places. The south and east basically dry. A touch of frost in the far north of Britain, but for most of us temperatures will be above freezing tonight. There's tomorrow's chart, the broad band of cloud with outbreaks of rain, some sleet and snow in places, and further showery outbreaks edging in from the west across England and Wales through the day too. It's not cold though, temperature's not so bad, up to around 11, and that's 52. There's a quick look at the summary, and check out the weather website for more details. Good night.
Power Gen. Energy for you and your little monsters come rain or shine.